بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته أما بعد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قالوا آمنا برب العالمين رب موسى وهارون صدق الله العلي العظيم. Tonight's story is the story of the magicians of Pharaoh and how they met the truth of Nabi Musa alayhi salam. And in the story we will learn three things. The first is that there are two kinds of people, the stubborn and the genuine, and the Quran mentions these kinds of people on numerous occasions. The second thing is that death in dignity is better than life in humility. And finally, the thing that we will learn is that truths will come to us and sometimes they will contradict what we've always believed. But once proven beyond doubt, it is our reaction to these truths that inshaAllah will pave the way to our nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, especially when it comes to religious issues. Now, before we start with the story, a couple of jurisprudential issues. The first one is, will looking at a non-mahram void my fasts? And jurisprudentially speaking, the answer is no. It will not void your fast. It's not listed as one of the items that voids a fast. However, there is a jurisprudential problem in looking at a non-mahram in the first place. And the other issue is that, if you remember, we discussed the different levels of fasting. There's the individual who will suffice him or herself simply by abstaining from the 8 or 9 items listed in the risala of the marja' that they follow. But on a higher level, we have the individual who will fast his entire body or her entire body. All the limbs will be fasting. The eyes will fast, the ears will fast, the tongue will fast, the heart will fast. You see, jurisprudentially speaking, when we open our risala, when we open this book of jurisprudence, this is the minimum obligation that we have. What we should be aiming for, however, is a much higher level. Once we are acquainted with the minimum, we should be seeking to progress to higher levels of spirituality. The second question is with regards to showering and inserting the head inside or under the water of the shower head. Does that void the fast? And the answer again is no. There is a problem, however, in inserting your head in water, immersing your head in water. If you were to immerse your head in water fully, most scholars believe that this will void the fast, with the exception of Sayyid Sistani, Hafidhahullah, who says that immersing your head in water has a karaha shadida. It's very, very makruh, highly recommended against. However, it doesn't void the fast if you follow the rulings of Sayyid Sistani. Now, back to this story in Surah Al-A'raf, which starts on page 164, and the ayahs that we read are on page 165. قالوا آمنا برب العالمين. These magicians said that we believe in the Lord of the worlds. What happened was Nabi Musa alayhi salam went to Pharaoh and he said to him that me and my brother Harun, we are the messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we come to you with signs. So let us and Bani Israel leave the land. Now, as you're aware, Pharaoh raised Nabi Musa alayhi salam in his house. He provided him with food and shelter and safety at a time when Pharaoh himself was slaughtering newborn boys because of the news that he received that a boy was going to be born that would threaten his rule. So he was slaughtering all these newborn baby boys. But subhanallah, miraculously, Nabi Musa alayhi salam ended up in the house of Fir'aun, and he raised him. So of course he wasn't happy when he came to him and he said to him that I am the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that he brings signs to Fir'aun. Fir'aun, when he heard this, he said to Musa, if you are truthful, give me some signs. So Nabi Musa alayhi salam throws the staff, which turns into a python, and he takes his hand out, which turned white. It was bright white for the viewers to see. Everybody was bewildered and stunned at the sight. Everyone was taken aback. What do they do? What do we do now? So they sought advice amongst themselves, and they decided that this was simply magic, that Nabi Musa alayhi salam was nothing but a magician. So they decided to buy some time and to bring the expert magicians to an appointed day so that they can defeat Nabi Musa alayhi salam. And so that's what they did. They gathered the expert magicians and they brought them to an appointed day. Nabi Musa alayhi salam came, and the magicians that were assigned the role of beating Nabi Musa alayhi salam, they said to Fir'aun, they said, will you reward us if we win? You see, they were looking for financial gain. Whereas the Anbiya, what were they looking for? They didn't want any reward. وَمَا أَسْأَلَكُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ أَجْرٍ is what they would say. I seek nothing of a reward from you. No financial reward, no material reward, no worldly reward. Their reward, the ones who are truthful, the ones who want to see you go up a level, to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to bring about iman into your hearts. They want nothing but the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These magicians, clearly, they wanted material, worldly things. And Fir'aun not only offered them worldly material things, but he also offered them position and status. He said, not only will I give you the rewards that you want, but I will make you from within my close circles. They were so excited to hear this. The expert magicians were very, very excited. And so they said to Nabi Musa alayhi salam in eagerness, would you like to throw first, or do you want us to throw? Because we're ready. They were like emphasizing as if to give the answer in the question that we want to throw first. They were so excited at throwing their magic so that they can beat Nabi Musa alayhi salam. Nabi Musa alayhi salam said, okay, have it, Joey, you want to go first? Go for it. And so they did. They threw a huge magic show. There was magic and sleights of eyes and everything that they can throw, they threw. And everybody was bewildered at what the magicians were doing. And then a revelation came to Nabi Musa alayhi salam to throw his staff, which of course vanquished the magicians, defeated them completely. Their magic simply disappeared. And the python that came from the staff, it gobbled up their magic, swallowed it up, and they were completely humiliated and defeated. In which case, what happened was they immediately dropped down in prostration. They went into prostration. Prostration is the clearest sign of submission. They immediately submitted. You see, they saw the truth. And they knew that Nabi Musa alayhi salam wasn't a magician. It wasn't magic that he was doing. It was a miracle. And so they submitted immediately. Fir'aun, again, he wasn't happy. Remember, he's the one that says, أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى, I am your greater Lord. What are you doing? You are submitting before I give you permission? I will cut your hands and feet from opposite sides and I will crucify you. That didn't change the minds of the magicians. قالوا آمنا برب العالمين رب موسى وهارون. They said, we believe in the Lord of the worlds, the Lord of Musa and Harun alayhi salam. And when he threatened them, قالوا إنا إلى ربنا منقلبون. We shall return to our Creator, to our Lord. You're not our Lord. Now, let's go back to Surah Al-Hamd. Look how quickly they embraced and realized Surah Al-Hamd in these ayahs when they saw the truth. This is the genuine hearts. Remember, they woke up kuffar, they were magicians. But they were to die as martyrs in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They grew up amongst kuffar, but they sold their soul for the best, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And yet we see Muslims living amongst other Muslims, selling their religion for, so and so, very a measly amount. You have to be careful. Wherever you're living, you have to be careful. You see, living in an Islamic community, in an Islamic country, gives you an edge. Your environment is different. There are masjids, there are mosques, there are adhans, and Husayniyat, and Dua Kumail, Dua Tawassul, there are harams. You are constantly reminded, the chances are much greater that you will comply. But there are the exceptions that turn away from their religion and sell their souls for a measly price. When you're living in a non-Islamic country, the exception is the other way around. You have to hold on to your religion with your hands and teeth. It's very hard. It's very hard for adults, let alone for children. This is a very important lesson that we have. These magicians submitted. They woke up as kuffar and they were to die as martyrs. قالوا إنا إلى ربنا منقلبون. It doesn't matter what you're going to do with us. You can crucify us, you can cut our hands. We believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord of Musa alayhi salam and Harun alayhi salam, and that suffices for us. They immediately submitted. If we can do that in our life, when we read something and we have the evidence that is clear, al-burhan, it may contradict with what we believed initially. But if the evidence is clear, then we should be able to submit to it. Do your research until that evidence is unquestionable. And when it is unquestionable, we should submit to it. As opposed to Fir'aun, who didn't submit until he was drowning in the sea. When the sea opened up for Nabi Musa alayhi salam as they were running away from him and his soldiers, and the last person to leave the sea left the sea, and then Fir'aun and his soldiers, they all entered the sea, and the sea closed up on them. And Fir'aun, in his last final moments, said, okay, I believe, but that's not enough. If we have a look at some supplications in the Quran, the supplication that we recite on a common basis, وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَقُولُ رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. You see the ayah after this? These people who say, give us the best of what is in this world and what is in the hereafter, أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمْ نَصِيبٌ مِّمَّا كَسَبُوا وَاللَّهُ سَرِيعُ الْحِسَابِ. For them, they have a portion of what they have earned. And Allah is a quick accountant. He will give you from what is in this world and what is in the akhirah, inshaAllah. The ayahs before it, what does it say? فَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَقُولُ رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا, and that's it. فَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَقُولُ, and from the people who will say, oh Allah, give us from this world, that's it. We don't want anything else. يقول ربنا آتنا في الدنيا وما له في الآخرة من خلاق. There is nothing left for him. He's not even asking for it. They're just asking for this world. They will get it. And nothing will be left for them in the hereafter. And then on page 69, if you read in Ali Imran, it says, منكم من يريد الدنيا, from amongst you are those who want الدنيا, the world. وَمِنْكُمْ مَنْ يُرِيدُ الْآخِرَةِ, and from amongst you are those who want the hereafter. ثُمَّ صَرَفَكُمْ عَنْهُمْ مِنْكُمْ مَنْ يُرِيدُ الدُّنْيا وَمِنْكُمْ مَنْ يُرِيدُ الْآخِرَةِ ثُمَّ صَرَفَكُمْ عَنْهُمْ لِيَبْتَلِيَكُمْ, and he will test you. وَلَقَدْ عَفَا عَنْكُمْ, and he will forgive you. وَاللَّهُ ذُو فَضْلٍ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. What the point of this ayah is that some of us want this world. We want this world. We don't want the akhirah. God forbid that we are amongst these people. And so these truths and evidences that come to us, they don't make a difference to us. We might be the kind of people that say, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا, and full stop. We don't want anything else. فِي الدُّنْيا, they don't even say, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنًا, the good things of this world. No. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا وَمَا لَهُمْ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ خَلَاقٍ. Nothing will be left for them in the hereafter. We should be the ones that say, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنًا وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنًا. Inshallah, we will get the best of both worlds. These magicians, when they saw the truth, they wanted to drop everything. And this is the lesson that we have. The second lesson, if you remember, I said, was that dying in dignity was better than living in humility. And knowing the truth and the evidence that came to them, if they were to accept Pharaoh's offer of life for pleasure, they would be living in humility. They would be humiliating themselves. They were ready to die in dignity. Hayhat minna bdillah. This is the shi'ar of the Shia. This is the symbol of Shia Islam. Never, never, ever allow yourself to live in humility. We should rather die in dignity. And the final lesson was that at any point in time, and these magicians had a lifetime of kufr and disbelief and the belief that Pharaoh was their Lord. But when they saw the truth, in that moment, they gave up everything for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is a lesson for us, that it's never too late. We might be living a life of sin, but maybe tonight is the night. Maybe this month is the month where we determine that we will not ever sin, that habitual sin that we have, that tongue that speaks faster than what we can think, those sights that we see, those sounds that we hear. Maybe this is the month that we can repent. Maybe this is the month that we can take action. It's never too late, but we have to do it by choice, not at the last moment when we're about to die or drown. That's of no use. That's of no use to us. It's now, when we are healthy, when we are wealthy, when we have the choice to make that choice, we need to take action. Okay, so recite the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So the messages from these ayahs, I'll list them here very quickly. One, the truth will always prevail. That's the first message. So we should be inclining ourselves towards the truth with a capital T. Number two, if you see the truth and the evidence is clear, submit to it. I know there might be some cognitive dissonance and some physical hardship and some mental negotiation that you need to make within yourself to overcome that. But we're going to need to overcome that. And when we have the truth, when there is the evidence, submit to it. The third is that prostration is one of the most apparent forms of submission. Number four, with regards to these ayahs, we saw a number of things that are the principles and the fundamentals of Islam and all divine religions. They are Tawheed, prophethood, and resurrection or judgment day. قالوا آمنا برب العالمين. This is Tawheed. They said, we believe in the Lord of the worlds. Rabbi Musa wa Harun. You see here, this is prophethood. قالوا إنا إلى ربنا منقلبون. When Fir'aun threatened them to cut their hands and feet on opposing sides and then crucify them, قالوا إنا لربنا منقلبون. قالوا إنا إلى ربنا منقلبون. They said, we will return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the third fundamental of Islam and divine religions in general, which is resurrection and the return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number five, in the face of threats, we need to stand strong. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is supporting us and is behind us. Number six, no matter how bad you think you are, there is still time. Don't leave it until next Ramadan though. You may not be alive next Ramadan. God forbid. But we are seeing death right around us right now. We are here in quarantine because of this fear of death. We may not be around next month. Now is the time to act. And the seventh and final thing is dying in dignity is better than living in humility. هیهات من الذلة. ذلت از ما دور است. Humility is far from us. That is the shi'ar of the Shia, the symbol of Shia Islam. And that comes to the conclusion of our session today. But before we go, a few points on some of the issues of eating in general. In the Risala, we have a number of recommendations. We discussed some of those recommended mustahabbat in the last session. In this session, we will talk about some of the things that are recommended against. There are a number of things such as eating without being hungry, eating to one's fill, looking at someone else who is eating. These things are all not recommended. And they are in the Risala, for example, Sayyid Sistani, Hafizahullah. So gazing at someone else while they're eating, to eat while the food is still hot. So I've listed about 4 so far. I'll repeat them again. To eat without being hungry is not recommended. It is makruh. To eat to one's fill, filling yourself up. To gaze towards others who are eating. You're looking at them. Don't do that. To eat when the food is still hot. So allow the food to naturally cool. To blow upon the food. So clearly it's still hot and you're blowing on it. That's makruh. Or your hot drink. And finally, to cut a piece of bread with a knife is also makruh. Now there's a few others. And I'll leave you with some advice from Imam Ali alayhi salam to his son Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. Imam Ali said to him, would you like me to advise you something that will leave you needless of doctors? You don't need to go to doctors. Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam says, of course. And he gives him 4 pieces of advice. Now listen to these carefully because we need to apply these. This is the advice of a Ma'soom alayhi salam. Number 1, do not eat unless you're hungry. Now, remember we mentioned that from the Risala of Sayyid Sistani, he also mentions this. So some of my questions like, where do you get these from? Well, these are from narrations. That's where we're getting these from. That's where Sayyid Sistani gets these from. Imam Ali says to Imam Hassan alayhi salam, do not eat unless you're hungry. Alhamdulillah, in this month we don't have a problem. We fast all day, we come to dinner and we're hungry. So, tick. The problem is with the second one. Do not eat to your fill. Don't overeat. It's not good for you. Number 3, we might have a problem with, but at least we can do something about this. Chew your food well. This action of mastication should be done very well, so that when it comes to the stomach, the teeth have done their job. As well as that, when you chew well, you slow down your eating processes. So you're not, having bite after bite, where the stomach is not having time to adjust to the food that's being dumped into it. And the 4th and final thing that Imam Ali alayhi salam advised Imam Hassan alayhi salam to be needless of doctors is to go to the lavatory and relieve yourself before you go to bed. I thank you very much for your attention. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. And we finish with the supplication. اللهم رب شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن. O Allah, O the Lord of the month of Ramadan, in which you sent in it the Holy Quran. وافترضت على عبادك الصيام. And you have obligated upon your worshippers the fasting. صل على محمد وآل محمد وارزقني حج بيتك الحرام في عامي هذا وفي كل عام. Inshallah, the Hajj will be open once again, and if we haven't been to Hajj, pray and supplicate that you can fulfill that duty. واغفر لي تلك الذنوب العظام. And forgive those great sins of mine, O Allah. فإنه لا يغفرها غيرك يا رحمن يا علام. For there is no forgiveness of them except from you, O merciful, O ever knowing. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.